Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting oil painting video. Today is Sunday. What is today? December 8th. Oh wow, Christmas is coming. And we're back on schedule. I'm done with my show season until March, so we're back on our Sunday schedule. Anyways, here is our Blick canvas. I've got this one and one more left that I found. We were back on the Ampersand Gessobord, but I found two more canvases I didn't want to waste. So we're going to use them up here. Got this one and next week also. So let's start out with a little bit of Alizarin Crimson, Viridian, some of our medium. Let's just figure this out as we go. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I know it was absolutely gorgeous today. I put up our lights because last weekend I had my last show, so I didn't get the chance to do much. So Saturday, my wife and I put up our tree inside, and today I did all the outside lights. Oh, I didn't do all the outside lights. We have an inflatable, we have a laser light, and then we have two strands of lights I put up. I get a little lazy as I get older, so I don't put up as much as we used to. But it still looks good. And just waiting for it to get dark. Right now it's like 4 o'clock, so it's about 30 minutes from dark. So we'll see if I get everything lined up good, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're on autopilot, right? You know what we're doing. We're using medium in the beginning. We're basically sketching out everything using the big brush, okay? I just added some raw cyan in here. Take a little bit of mountain. I'm just going to really, I don't know, I'm in a great mood today. I'm always in a great mood. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm not trying to gloat or anything else, but I spent a lot of my, wasted, I should say, a lot of my younger years being an asshole and upset about everything. And as I got older and got over that stuff and started understanding, wow, being happy is kind of cool. And then I finally started forgiving myself for wasting my 20s and 30s. It's funny, I'm enjoying myself more in my 50s than I ever did in my 20s and 30s. I'm dumb as dog shit when I was young, but better learn late than never. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to get that nice little trajectory. Wow, say that 5 times. Okay, as you can see, I got a lot of different colors in here. I don't want this to be, some really dark whatever mountain. I'm going to put a lot of shit in front of it. I'm going to put some back here in a second. Get some more paper towel. I have no idea what I'm doing. Which, if you've been following me, you know that's the norm. I have no idea. And that's the fun of it. Okay, now I'm just going to scrub these in. Obviously, I'll redefine the mountain. It might end up being like a bluff for all I know. It's not all that huge. I don't think I put enough medium out. Oh well, we'll see how far it gets me. We shall see. Oh yeah, a little more of that. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, now let's redefine our mountain. Our bluff, whatever you want to call it. There we go. Now they look like they're in the back. This let's see what I'm gonna do. This like this. Up a little bit like that. Here we go. I kind of like the way that looks. What do you think? Straight across there. There we go. So we got a couple of different planes here. We got some background trees. We've got some, let's say, middish. That's definitely not a word, but we're going to use it. Middish tree line over here. They're obviously in front of this. And then this is going to be land or water. And I have not decided. What we're going to do now is the sky. Maybe by the time I get done with the sky, I'll figure out if that's water or land, and I'll put water somewhere else. we'll do it that way. It's going to be very little blue in the sky. Mostly Alizarin Crimson, a little blue. I've got some burnt sienna on the brush. I've got some Alizarin Crimson on the brush. I've got some Viridian on the brush. Didn't have any Payne's gray this time out. Ooh, nice looking sky. Okay, I can deal with that right away. Look at that. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. Excuse me. Yeah, that'll work. A little bit moody. But you figure it is December. It's not going to be a winter scene, but it's going to have a moody-ish sky. I don't know why I'm into the ish today. But it doesn't matter. I'm 58 years old, like I said, so I sincerely doubt any of my grade school English teachers are still around to cringe at how bad my English has become. Yeah. When I was in 4th grade, I had a teacher. Her name was Mrs. Birch. And she was pushing 60 back then when I was in 4th grade, so. Oh wow, I'm splashing myself. So she's probably been gone, considering how long ago that was. But she was actually pretty cool because for English, she was uncanny. She would not pronounce a word without enunciating every little sound that those letters in that word made. She was really into it, and she was a very good teacher too. I learned a lot from her. I didn't realize it at the time, but most of the time we don't. It's amazing how many teachers you remember. Shit, I just had, this year's my 40th, God, I can't believe it's 40th high school reunion. I didn't go to any of them. I'm not real big into that reunion stuff, but wow, 40 years since I graduated high school. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. And if I go by the statistics on my YouTube channel, the majority of the people that are watching these videos are much older than I am, so they're probably saying, shut the hell up, John. You don't know what old is. So in that case, I will shut up. And you will always be older than me. Okay, so what do we got here? Okay, so I like this guy. Now, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, I'll put some clouds in and stuff. I like what we got going on here. Light blue, whiter, a little gray or green. I mean, we got like 6 different hues in there. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to put any clouds in there. I'm kind of going to let that kind of be like it is. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to get in our foliage shape. And you've seen me do this a bunch of times. I'm going to get the shapes in, and then I'm going to have my pine trees in front. And this is pretty close to the background anyway. I'm going to put a little bit of blue in there too. Blue is a good background color. Blues always recede. Makes whatever they are recede. See, this is the difference you can tell right now. Well, I don't know if you can or not. But if you can see it waving like that, that is one of the reasons why I like using the Gessobord from Ampersand. Now, there are a lot of different boards you can use that are professional quality. I haven't tried all of them. I'd be lying if I said I did, and I'm not going to lie to you, so I will tell you I didn't. I have tried several, and by far, Ampersand is the best. The best quality, the best surface as far as the way the paint comes off. Just, I like them a lot. So that's what I use with the majority of my paintings now. And after I get this canvas and one more done, that's what you're going to be seeing probably, unless I find more canvas somewhere, actual canvas, you're going to be seeing the Gessobord most of the time. And again, like I said, it's more expensive than, you know, economy canvas and some other canvases. But it is just such a really fun surface to paint on. I love it. Now I'm going to get this. Now here's the other thing. Tapping is a pain in the ass when you got regular canvas because you can see all the bumps, all the movement and stuff. So I'm going to take a 1-inch brush here in a minute once I get this to shape this stuff a little bit better. When you got the rigid, like the wood, it's a lot easier. When you got it like this, it just bounces too much. So I'll take the small brush, and you see how that's diffusing now? That's the look I want. The look I had looked stupid, but it got the paint on the canvas, and that's what you're looking for. Get the paint on the canvas, get the colors remotely where you want them to be, and then I'll take this brush, and what I'm going to do here is just clean it up. I'll redefine the little hill again. Is that what we're going to call it? We're going to call it the little hill. And a lot of these blues you're going to see in here, blue, greens, and all that other stuff is good because, like I said, these are background. And I'm blending it into the background sky that's already got some blues and reds and everything in there. So everything is mishmashing together. We still haven't used a lot of colors. And that's the whole key to it. You don't want to use a lot of colors. There we go. Now what I'm doing is basically to my taste. There is no rhyme or reason for what I'm doing right now, other than you want the tree line, the top tree line, to not be straight across. You want it to be, you know, up and down. Make it look like the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and it's going to be an interesting painting. Make it straight across, and it's going to look silly. Okay, so. Now, I'm not going to worry about a lot of this here, because what I'm going to do in a second, I'm going to take another brush, and I'm going to soften that whole thing. Actually, I'm going to use the same brush. I'm just going to wipe it off real good. And I use crisscross strokes like you do with the sky. And I'm going to add a little bit of white. Not a lot, just a little to get it opaque. I'm going to make this a little smoother. And the reason is I don't want all these lines in it. So when you make it opaque now, it's going to make it a little smoother. The lines won't be as readily available. I'm not changing the color. I'm lightening the color a little bit, but it doesn't matter because these aren't going to be, that much of this isn't going to be visible, okay? A lot of this is going to be covered up by foreground pines. There we go. Just get that in. See how much better that looks now? And in a second, I'm going to take some blue and I'm going to put it right into there. I'm going to put those shadows in. And this is basically French ultramarine. And I'm not going to cover the whole thing. This is, like I said, shadows. So I'm going to put highlights around them. Wiping it smooth. There we go. Okay. I still haven't figured out where my water's going to be. Okay, I'm going to take my knife. And I'm not going to go with a real bright color. I'm just going to go some raw sienna. And I'm not going to worry about a lot of stuff further down. Because, like I said, I'm going to have a lot of vegetation in this. Let's see a little bit more in here. This is just a little bit of Payne's Gray, a little bit of my raw sienna, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, wipe off my knife. I'm going to take my 1-inch. I'm just going to define these shapes a little bit better. Don't like the way that looks. I'm going to take a brush that's got softer bristles. It's still a bristle brush, but it's softer bristles. Smooth these out a little bit. There we go. That's better. Sometimes you get brushes that have the bristles are so stiff, it really digs into the paint down to the surface of the canvas sometimes. And if that's the look you're wanting, great. But if it's not the look you want, then you need to get a little softer bristle brush, and that's what this is. This one's softer than what I was using, and that's why it's coming out so much nicer. If I would have been a lot thicker with my paint, the other one would have been fine, but I wasn't. I was pretty thin with it overall. Go. Now I gotta do what you see me do a million times, real light. Actually, I'm not even gonna use that brush. Let's use about the blender brush. There we go. Just a little bit of that there. Okay. Okay, so we're good. I still have no idea where the hell the water's going to go. Okay. That's going to be land. Excuse me. A little bit of yellow and a little bit of titanium white. It's not going to stay this bright, but this is how I'm going to add Payne's Gray to it to dullen it up. But that won't be for a little while. I just want to get my land so I know where my water's going to be. Okay, wipe the brush. Don't have to clean it yet. Okay, so now we're going to take French ultramarine. Still have the Cadmium Yellow Light on there. Got my titanium white. And go straight across. There we go. I'm not sure if it's going to be this much water. I might not have that much. Once I get the final bits of the land in, I'll know for sure. As of right now, it's cool. And the other thing is too, I got a subdued sky, so I don't want a real bright blue water. So that's why I chose to keep my brush dirty too. And I'm probably going to add some green to this as I go, but I want to get my blue base in first, blue and white. I want it opaque a little sooner than normal. And the reason is, I just want to see where I'm at. When you go opaque, it's a real good way, I just dropped my palette, to see exactly where you're at. Ooh, more blue would help there. And they kind of gauge it. You know, the thing of it is, you can have a couple of little areas much brighter than others to be contrast and everything else, but your basic tone of the painting, you want to have similar. You don't want to have a real bright forest and a real dark sky and water, or vice versa. You want it similar. Everything is subdued except the grass, which will be subdued. The only thing that we're going to have that's going to be bright is flowers are going to be everywhere on the bottom. And that'll be a good contrast. So you'll still have those subdued colors everywhere, but you're going to have the bright flowers to be a nice contrast. There, that's the base of our water. I'm only going to add water lines to that. I'm not even going to add more green. I've had so much blue in these trees back here, and in the sky and stuff. Not even going to go there. Okay, so now burnt umber, raw sienna. Doesn't matter how much of each. I just want a nice dark earth tone here. This is going to be a grassy field, but I want to start with just a real nice dark, just so I know exactly where the hell I am. You've probably heard me say that a bunch of times. Now I'm going to shape this. There we go. Now, got to wipe off the brush. Now, I get it. This looks stupid here. And if you think it looks stupid, you would be absolutely correct. So, the first thing I'm going to do, and you've seen me do this a bunch of times too, I'm going to blend them together. So, I'm using the brush now the way you're supposed to, okay? I'm not using the side at the moment. Just going to blend it. So I did this. And I want the water and the land to be together. Get some of the land in the water and some of the water in the land. Okay, so the reason I did that is because I want to be able to come later of where my land is going to be. I'm probably going to have this jet out a little bit more, or I may keep it like it is. I'm not sure yet. But I have an area now where I can put flowers and different stuff. Okay, let me see how this looks on. Oh yeah, that'll work. Okay, so fill in this land here. I'll use our tree color, side of the brush. Get it right up to the edge of the water. Then flatten it out. All of a sudden now it's getting darker. See how that bright yellow just went away? And the green I told you I was going to add into the water, well, there she be. Now I'm going to put some more blue in just to keep it where it's supposed to be. And a lot of this, I know it looks like I'm doing this in my sleep, and to a degree you're right, I am. And once you get your first 1,000 paintings over with, you will too. Okay, now you see at the moment here, and this is one of the things I want to show you. One of the ways that I paint that I enjoy doing is a non-committal basis. And no, that doesn't mean I'm afraid of commitment. I've been with my wife 27 years and married 23. So I don't have an issue with commitment. I've been with my job for 19 years. Commitment's not an issue. Unless it's a painting, then it's an issue. So basically what I do this works is simple. This is a non-committal approach I take to virtually every painting. Unless it's a specific place that I've got sketched out. If it's done in this style, which is the majority of my paintings, where my land, midground, and water begin and end at this point is irrelevant. It shows where it is, but I can bring the land down or the water up and not hurt anything. Same thing with this land. I can add it, I can subtract it, I can add it out here, I can subtract it. When you blend them together like this, and you're using a limited palette, you are not committed until you decide to be committed. And I say, okay, perfect. That's the amount of land I want. I'm going to have a bunch of trees here that'll come up to here. This will just be grass. My other trees will be here. This will just be grass. These will be a ton of flowers and some grass. The sky is done. So that's the way I paint the majority of the time. 70%-ish. There I am with that ish stuff again. But that's just the way it works. Okay? I don't want to overcommit, even though it's oils and I can scrape it off, and it's just a bigger hassle. So I learned this technique. I don't think I invented it, but I learned it from somebody, and I don't recall because I've been doing this for quite a while. Blend certain areas together to where there's a soft edge. There is no hard edge there. There is no hard edge anywhere here. It doesn't matter what you do with the brush, in the blue, in the brown, and none of that stuff matters. They're all going to have a little of each other in them. So your start point for land and sea and this land is irrelevant. Once you decide where your highlights are, where your final details are, that determines your final borders, I should say, for your different elements. So that's the long-winded way of saying, put it wherever the hell you want and don't worry about it. It's your painting. Do whatever the hell you want. Do what makes you happy. I'm here to show you, and I really believe this. My job with the way I paint is to show you how to have fun painting in oils. There's so many people, even at my shows, every show I go to, there's at least one person, usually more, that says that they always wanted to try oils, but it was so complicated. First thing I do is give them my business card with my YouTube channel on and say, no, it's not. It's only complicated if you make it that way, but it doesn't have to be. And the other part of it, as I try to really drive home with people, is if you're not having fun oil painting, you're doing it wrong. Okay? It's that simple. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. I am having a freaking blast when I do these videos with you people. Okay? I absolutely love it. I don't know who's going to be watching them. I don't know what age group is going to be there, male or female. I have no idea who's doing what. All I know is when I'm making them, I'm having the time of my life. Now, I have a different mindset when I'm making a video as I am to doing a studio piece that I'm taking, several hours on maybe, or, a commission that I started doing a little bit of here and there. But it's the type of thing where it's just fun. Now, part of it is, as you can tell, I like to talk. So this gives me an excuse to talk incessantly and not have to worry about anybody saying, John, shut up, take a breath. So that's part of it. That might be the whole thing. Didn't know. Now that I think about it, maybe that is it. Maybe it's my sick, demented desire to talk constantly that makes it so this is fun. I don't know. Well, if it is, too bad. You're the ones tuning in my videos. So deal with it. How about a pine tree? Actually, screw that. How about a bunch of them? How about a bunch of them? We're going to do our pine tree deal too with the palette knife. So we're going to splash on different stuff. We're going to have a lot of fun. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Always keep that in the back of your head. And also on my business card, on the back of it, obviously you don't see my business cards because we're doing this YouTube stuff together. But on the back of my business cards, I have in relatively big letters. I don't even know if I have one around here. Yeah, I hope you can see it. I don't know if it comes in. There it is. Right at the top. Never be afraid to fail. I lived by that for a long time. You need to also. Never be afraid to fail. You know what that means? That means go out and do your best and just go for it. Do the best you can. Go for it. Jump in feet first. See what happens. If you never try, you'll never know if you can do it. If you never try and go through the bullshit, you for sure will never know if you can do it. So you got to try. You got to not worry about failing. You got to not worry about the bullshit. And you got to just keep doing it because it's going to be fun, damn it. No matter how much stress and how much hair you lose, it's going to be fun. And then after a while, the stress goes away. The hair stops falling out. You start smiling more. And all of a sudden, it's like, damn, that's not so ugly. So if you want to look at some of my finished stuff, JohnMinarsikFineArt.com is my shop. It's my Etsy store. I've got like a bunch of sale items going on now too because of the holidays. If you like my work, check it out. Makes a great Christmas gift, and it's still early enough to order it. Now, I know what you're saying right here. I know what you're thinking. How come he's not going all the way down? He said he was going to cover those mountains and go all the way down. He lied to me, damn it. No, he didn't. Again, I want to see where I'm at. I want to see what's going on. I want to see what I will and won't cover. I want to see what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. Is that enough for you? Above the tree lines. There we go. So basically what I did was, I'm going to just take out now which ones I'm going to connect to go down. Most of this is going to be gone. Well, not gone. You're going to see a little bit of it. Not a lot. And that's all I did. Sometimes I'll do the whole thing at once. This time I just wanted to do my little connect the dots. So here's a big one here. And I'm just connecting with up here. And I want this covered. This one, not as much, but this one for sure. I want everything covered here. And I'm going to use that small brush to make like brush piles with that wet paint. I'll show what I mean. Now I'm going up into them a little bit. In a real setting, that's going to be a very similar how the eye is going to be able to view these areas. You know, when it's a real thick, dense forest like this, you're not always going to see everything. You're going to see parts of it. And that I'll leave alone. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do, I got all that stuff on here, it doesn't matter. There we go. Okay, now I got a ton of paint on here still. This is oil, so it doesn't dry, so I'm not even going to wipe that off because I am going to need it. So I'm just going to set that aside. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to take my palette knife and I'm going to add very little here. Remember, I'm just touching completely flat. Now, I'm going to put my Cadmium Yellow Light Hue over here, not over here. I'm going to mix my darker green first before I put it over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this for the bright stuff, this for the subdued stuff. Why do you ask? Ask me. Come on, tell me. Say, why, John? Okay, cool. Here's the reason why. See this here? This is in front of this. I know it's obvious to see, but that means that in the painting area of things, if this is further away, it's going to have less detail, less color vibrancy than what's in front of it. So this is going to be a lot more colorful than that. I'm still going to have some color there. That's going to be a subdued green where there's going to be brighter green and a little speckles of yellow throughout. So that's why it's going to be that way. so now see now how I got that. Now that green that I used, look how much space I'm covering. Instead of mixing in my palette, I'm using the canvas itself. I'm just taking that yellow and, well, that green now, mixture, and I'm putting it right there. And then that, my friends, just filling in that gap right there. Okay, now I can fill in over here. See how much thicker the paint is over here? How much more you're going to see? There we go. Here, I'm intentionally making it a lot thicker. More texture equals more detail. More detail means it's closer to the viewer, which would be you. There we go. Oh yeah, you see how one definitely looks like it's further back than the other? That's the whole goal. That's the way it works, sonny boy. Okay, now I take my 1-inch brush, like we did the background trees, and then we're gonna do the bottom. There's gonna be some different color bushes here. Some green, some yellow, some brown, some whatever. And again, where I'm doing it right this minute, that's going to be darker, but it's still going to be there. It's going to be fainter, I should say. Okay, now some different colors here. Right now I'm using mainly Alizarin Crimson, but my brush has so much other stuff on it, it's a little bit of everything. And then I'm going to change these here real soon. Well, not change them, but I'm going to add some white highlights. So they're going to stand out a little bit, but not as much as it's going to be here. Now when I do that down here, these things are going to be a lot less subdued. That's going to stay the same. Okay, let me get back here and see how that looks. Oh, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's finish this back part here. Definitely gonna need more yellow on my palette, which I always do. Yeah, I gotta get a lot more yellow out. I opened a fresh tube out last painting, so I go through yellow probably more than any other color, as I love using yellow to mix with everything too. It's not just by itself. I use it as a great mixer. I use it to brighten stuff. I'm going to use it to just I'm going to use the palette knife to make this. I'm just taking the 1.5, right? Yeah, 1.5 inch brush. And take a little bit of red. There we go. Okay, take our big palette knife. Same thing as we did with the trees, except it's grass, so it's horizontal. And then once I do this, that will define exactly where my water is. See how that works? There is a method to my madness. I am not completely mad. Just a little bit. Now this isn't a mid-ish ground. This is actually mid-ground here. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, next thing I gotta do, wipe off my big 2-inch, well, 1.5 inch brush. I don't have a 2-inch anymore. Okay. Right into Payne's grain, some other stuff. Just touching them up. What I'm doing is I'm having stuff like little blades of grass. There we go. Oh wow, I'm liking that. Okay, wipe the brush, not clean the brush. This is going to test your resolve. This is going to see what kind of courage you have or don't have. This is going to make real painters from wannabes. I don't clean my brush. Look at all those different colors in there. I just wiped off the bulky stuff. Now we're going to do Pilgrim right in the water. Straight across. Look at that. Blend the two together. Now that is nice. So I'm not going to put my water lines in quite yet. I want to get some paint into this foreground first. Excuse me. I have not washed my brush yet. So basically, this is a combination of everything that I've been using today. we go. Blend right in. Let's see if that looks as good on video. Yeah, a little bit more right here. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to put in the water lines. Use this bad boy again. I don't see a waterfall anywhere. I don't know where there was one. I don't care. So, this isn't going to be rapids. This isn't going to be rapids. I apologize for being in your way, but I can't get over without being in your way. There we go. That one ain't too much. Okay. Now, I'm going to wipe off my 1-inch brush. And I'm going to put it to the side. A couple areas that are just a little too thick for my taste. See, when you see that, I don't know if you can see it, just a big blotch. You want to get rid of the real big blotches, because then it's just not going to blend correctly. So just scrape them off. There you go. Okay. I'm almost out of paper towel, but I don't care. And I'm not going to take the 1-inch brush. I changed my mind. Take my fan. Okay. Remember, just like we did clouds that we didn't do here. I'm not blending the paint. I'm doing it strong enough where I'm just diffusing it. I'm making movement. Okay, you can hear me on the canvas. So I'm not having a real light touch. And I'm blending a little bit just to get the movement correctly. There we go. I don't want blotchy. I want movement. Now let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, that'll work real good. That will work real good. Okay, folks. Taking my Payne's gray. Probably gonna need more. There we go. Okay, now, instead of taking the knife like I did up there, I'm going to change the texture a little bit. Just going to take the brush. I'm just going to tap around. There, now that looks like some wild terrain. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do, got to get a little bit more red out. A little bit more Alizarin Crimson. Where the heck is it? There it is. Got to make these flowers. So the flowers, I'm going to do the same thing I just did, but I'm going to use the smaller brush just to give it. There we go. Notice I'm not being chintzy with the paint. We're going thick. There we go. Doggone it. My paper towel flipped. I'm wiping my brush clean and getting my fingers dirty all at the same time. I didn't see the backside. Now I have alizarin crimson fingers on one side and a different variation of green on the other hand. Oh well. When you do a lot of painting, you get a lot of paint on yourself. Okay, thank you for sticking around. Now I'm just going to take the white. See how much thicker I'm going now? Put a little bit over here. Son of a bitch, did it again. Oh well. There's a reason why I take showers in the evening and not before I paint. Okay, just for the heck of it, I gotta go a little thicker here. I'm not gonna go anywhere near as thick as this, but I gotta go a little bit more. That was too faint. There we go. barely touching. Here we go. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this one. Just a hair under an hour, so that's cool. I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend and a great work week coming up. And again, we're back on our Sunday schedule, so everybody be safe, and I'll see you next Sunday.